Hey, how's it going? Coach Kyle here, and I had a client of mine ask, what is the best diet to complement running? And so I would say eat real food, not too much, but enough, mostly plants. And how you might recognize some of that from Michael Pollan. And eat real food. Reduce your intake of heavily processed food. You think of a grocery store, buy from the edges, the produce side and basically the bakery side. Everything else in the middle isn't actually real food. It's very heavily processed. Now I'm not saying avoid it completely, but here in the house here, we minimize the amount of heavily processed food we bring into the house. So if we're out at a restaurant, or if we are having a barbecue, or there was a birthday party last weekend, it's fine to make something and bring there, to eat it there, eat it out. But for bringing into the house, we really minimize. Like when we go shopping for our groceries once a week, we buy almost no, very little to zero heavily processed food. And if we buy something that's real processed like that, it's for a specific reason. For a specific meal, for a recipe. It's not just to buy chips to have chips. We would buy chips if we were having a barbecue, or whatever. We don't just have junk laying around, is what I'm trying to say. So eat real food, not too much. Basically, if you're eating real food, you can eat as much as you want. It's hard to overeat on fruits and vegetables. Grains, you can overeat on grains. But if you're making rice, or you're making your own bread, again, it's not so bad. It's a little less processed. Eat real food, not too much, but enough. Habitually not eating enough is just as bad as habitually eating too much. A reduced calorie intake reduces your micronutrient intake. It reduces your vitamin and mineral intake. That's not good, people. So if you're trying to lose weight, a tactic I like to recommend is intermittent dieting, where you're in a calorie deficit 5 out of 7 days of a week, and you can kind of eat a little extra the other 2 days. That helps with preserving your muscle mass, your metabolism, your sanity. All right, eat real food, not too much, but enough, mostly plants. And like I said again, you can basically, most people could eat as many fruits and vegetables as they want. Grains are a little iffy. We try to cut back. We try not to eat grains at every single meal. We made stuffed peppers last night, and we used cauliflower rice instead of rice, and it was totally fine. And it cut back a lot of calories. So eat real food, not too much, but enough, mostly plants. I'm a longtime vegetarian, vegan here in the house most days. Vegan, and you know, I say mostly plants because if you're watching this, odds are you eat meat. And I personally don't. But if you're gonna eat meat, try to choose some higher quality stuff. Don't just get the shitty deli meat. Try to buy local fruits, vegetables, and meat if you can. Yeah, eat real food, not too much, but enough. Mostly plants. That's a pretty good diet. If you look at basically any diet in the world that is people thrive off of, from the Mediterranean diet, the Blue Zone diet, the Native Inuit diet. They eat real food, not too much, but enough. Mostly plants. Now maybe not the Inuits, but they're eating blubber and stuff, but they're getting a lot of nutrients through the animals they eat, because there's just not a lot of plants. They get a lot of the nutrients from the plants from the animals they natively eat. So again, they're kind of getting that plant, the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals, etc., from the plants through the animals they're eating. So that's going to be the common denominators from basically any diet. Now, these diets that are keto, or keto's basically no carb to very low carb, I'm not against those. I don't practice that type of eating pattern because I like carbs, and I don't really have a problem eating carbs. But if that works for you, that's super. You got to have a diet that you can be happy on and thrive on. And for you, if that's a keto diet, if it's a low carb diet, if you avoid gluten, I don't care, as long as you feel well eating it. That's priority number one. And I feel best on a primarily plant-based diet, very little animal products. I've tried low carb in the past, didn't like it. I've been raw vegan, it's fine, but I prefer my current eating pattern, and it makes me happy. It makes me feel good, and if that's how you feel about your diet, then that's great. And if you want some help improving it, feel free to DM me, email me, and we could chat more about little things you can do personally, specifically to improve your diet. So drop any comments, questions below, and as always, you keep running, I'll keep coaching.